It's spring training, and the Yankees still can't get over getting their fannies paddled by the Dodgers. The Chargers are expected to make a leap next year. I thought they already did. And LAFC is about to transfer a starting winger. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos morning report. It's February 13th, 2025. We are once again broadcasting from Ice Station Alpha up in Portland. The snow is starting to fall. It is going to be utter misery, but so be it. We always have LA sports to fall back on. And if you like being in the know about LA, click the like button. Click the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. Now, before we go through the news and notes, a look at the scoreboard. Utah 131, Lakers 119. Four Lakers starters hit double figures, led by Rui Hachimura with 19. Now, look, in yesterday's clip, I mentioned that the Lakers are fooling themselves if they think Jackson Hayes is suddenly going to pull off his skin like an amphibian and all of a sudden look like Anthony Davis. Hayes scored 4 points left after 7 minutes. The guy got hit in the head. Alex Len comes in to debut, scores 4 points. In other words, the Lakers had no center. Played way too small. Big Boyd, big loss to Utah. Doesn't exactly kill him in the standings, but if you're looking for something that says, hey, maybe things ain't entirely perfect with the plan, there you go. Clippers 128, Memphis 114. Kawhi Leonard scored 25 points. All 5 Clippers starters reached double figures. Meanwhile, today, the Clippers go into the land of Mormon to take on Utah at 6 o'clock. And let's get to the news. Aaron Boone, Yankees manager, said that the Yankees would handle winning a World Series with more class than the Dodgers. Which is to say, if you ever do win a World Series, which is a pretty tall order considering how you guys play defense, if you ever do, we'll see if you handle it with more class. But until then, up yours. Up yours. You want to know why the Dodgers talk so much trash after the World Series? Would you like a little hint, Aaron? Had nothing to do with you. Zero. Nothing. It had everything to do with, I don't know, your fans trying to break Mookie Betts' wrist in Game 4. It had everything to do with, I don't know, your fans cheering when Shohei Ohtani got injured. It had everything to do with your fans heckling Freddie Freeman during a moment of silence for cancer victims. And yes, Aaron, Freeman's mom died of cancer. The people who pay to see your team play are horrible, miserable excuses for people. So let's keep going by mentioning 2 things. 1, there's no such thing as we're so classy in sports. I'm not classy. Your people are not classy. Matter of fact, I'd go so far as to say that you play for the most bottom-feeding turd buckets in all of baseball fandom. You guys are wishing you could be Philadelphia Eagles fans. That's how horrible you guys are. Not that we're perfect. Not going there. At least we know we're not perfect. And by the way, the second thing, the way that you shut down those morbidly obese tubs of slime that you have in your seats is to beat the holy hell out of your team and then let all of them know that the team they paid so much money for to cheer on got their asses kicked. That's why the Dodgers started talking the trashy trash. I've said a lot of things I'm going to have to atone for before I die and shuffle off this mortal coil. But I can assure you, I didn't go heckle your players during a moment of silence for cancer victims. You didn't see me rooting oh so hard that Aaron Judge's knees would snap. Class. Get the hell out of here. And that's the memo. I care very little about who starts opening day. It's ego. Pointless ego. Especially with the Dodgers when you consider how many aces they now have on the rotation. Who starts in spring training? Totally don't care. Look, long season. But just to get it out of the way, Dave Roberts said he expects both Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Roki Sasaki to pitch when the Dodgers play their 2 regular season games next month in Tokyo. The move is not strategic on the field, guys. It's strategic in terms of marketing. This is about the money. This is nothing about ego. This is nothing about, oh my God, what a great moment it's going to be. It's about the money. The Galaxy, for example, they're about to drop a new kit today. It's about the money. I'm going to have to figure out how to afford it like pronto. I'm an addict. I'm addicted. I need the new jersey. And oh, by the way, that's the same attitude pretty much everyone in Japan has about Dodger jerseys. How many times do you see in the United States random Japanese people wearing Dodger gear? Exactly. The Dodgers have been an international brand for decades. They were the ones who opened up the gates into Central America, for example. Now they want to dominate Japan. Those guys can play, don't get me wrong. But let's not get it twisted. This is not an honor. This is about making cash, which I'm okay with. Roberts also said relievers Evan Phillips and Michael Kopech are behind schedule in their recovery from injuries. We don't know how that will impact the regular season. We don't know, for example, if they're going on the injured list. We do know that it's not necessarily going to impact that series in Japan. Both the Dodgers and Cubs will have an expanded roster for that series. But I'm going to say this again. The problem with Michael Kopech is a forearm strain. Forearm strain. Right there. Don't be surprised if we wind up finding out a couple of weeks from now that the ulnar collateral ligament has gone snap, which would mean Tommy John surgery. Not a doctor. We've just heard what forearm tightness eventually leads to. We talked about that at great length. Switching gears over to football, CBSSports.com listed the Chargers as one of the 5 teams poised to make a leap next season. To which I would reply, define leap. I mean, seriously, even if you hate the Bolts with a passion, and there's a lot of Raider fans in LA, so let's be real. There's going to be some hate for the Chargers. But even they would have to admit that Jim Harbaugh basically took the franchise, threw it on a trampoline, and they made that leap last year. They more than doubled the wins from the prior season. They got into the playoffs. The only so-called leap you go from there is if you get, to the Super Bowl. So I don't know if they're that good. But like I said, define leap. Now, there's a possibility that they could become a serious Super Bowl contender. You have $60 million in cap space if you're the Chargers. The distinct possibility, look, I would even go so far as to say this. The Bolts are not only a threat with a good offseason to be considered a Super Bowl contender, they are also a definite threat, therefore, to snap Kansas City's stranglehold on the AFC West. Consider this. Teams that lose in the Super Bowl struggle to make the playoffs the next year. When the Rams a few years ago, they reached the Super Bowl, they had the young hot quarterback in Jared Goff, and then the Patriots shut them down. They missed the playoffs the next year. It's very, very common. When you lose a Super Bowl, it's only 50-50 that you get to the playoffs. You play all that extra football, you get nothing in return on the big stage. It takes a physical and mental toll. So you add the Chargers potentially getting better and the Chiefs potentially having a Super Bowl hangover. How hard of a leap would it have to be to get the division? And then you look at the Chiefs and you go about the potential for a talent drain. Travis Kelce considering retirement, for Pete's sake. Now, if I were Travis Kelce and I enjoy being intimate with a 35-year-old adjustable 6 pop star who still acts like she's 19 years old, maybe I wouldn't retire, right? Because let's be real, his camera-hogging girlfriend is going to dump him if he does retire. And then the inevitable breakup double album is going to follow. Travis Kelce's had a hell of a career, but if anything's going to tarnish the guy's legacy, it's going to be the combined shame of your last game being an ass-kicking, combined with the humiliation of your ex being inspired to write 3,000 songs about how you can't please a woman. So choose wisely, Travis, because the Chargers are coming if you leave. And not only are the Chargers coming if you leave, your girlfriend's next hit is going to be called "He Couldn't Find My End Zone Either." I realize I had to get off on a rant there. My bad. But look, having said that, this is not a fait accompli that the Chargers are going to be Super Bowl contenders, right? They have questions they have to answer. You've been reading enough news media to know that scribes will put out lists of the top 20, the top 50 free agents. Well, CBSSports.com creates a top 100 list. The Chargers have 6 players on the list. 6. That's tied for the most with 3 other teams. And the Chargers free agents, by the way, matter. Khalil Mack, do you really want to let him go? 3 cornerbacks, including Asante Samuel. Defensive tackle, Poona Ford. The guy was a one-man solution to all the Bolts' issues in run defense. Leading rusher, J.K. Dobbins, free agent. So yeah, the choices the Chargers make will go a long way as to the quality of team that they have. The choices. So what choices? If they're the Rams, for example, they spend a lot of their later draft picks on defensive backs. They draft running backs midway. If the Bolts have a similar mindset, and I'm not saying that they do, but if they did, the front office probably wouldn't have a problem with letting the 3 corners and Dobbins go. And then just do whatever it took to plug in the holes with the draft, keep Mack at whatever cost, and same for Poona Ford. But that's just me speculating. I don't know what they're thinking. And by the way, since I hinted at the Rams, if you're curious, the Rams only have 1 free agent on the CBS Sports Top 100. That would be left tackle Alaric Jackson. Brazilian club Grêmio. We had talked about this recently. They've apparently made a breakthrough in the pursuit of LAFC winger Christian Oliveira. The deal's for about $4.5 million, and if it matters, the player had already changed his social media bio to reflect his new team's colors. There's other, I don't want to call it news, it's more speculation about LAFC. A scribe from something called Goal.com suggests that LAFC manager Steve Cherundolo is on the hot seat. Now, to be clear, didn't include a source. So there's no reason to believe there's a real hot seat for the guy. The scribe is just pulling names out of his rear in the desperate hopes of being provocative, getting clicks. Now, if there's any validity to that, which again, I doubt, as a Galaxy supporter, please increase the temperature on this alleged hot seat until the guy starts twerking. Talk this into existence, because let me tell you, despite the rivalry between the Galaxy and LAFC, I am not a stupid man. Steve Cherundolo has far exceeded results from their original manager, Bob Bradley. They've had 2 over at LAFC. Bradley, decent, got him results. He didn't get the job done. Cherundolo did. Cherundolo is the manager of that franchise's history right now. And I admit, I didn't think much of the guy when he originally was given the gig. He managed the Las Vegas Lights over in the USL. That franchise was the hottest of trash. I thought he had some culpability for it. I was wrong. I was really wrong. Cherundolo comes in. He makes a couple of adjustments to Bradley's pressure at all times approach. Led LAFC to an MLS Cup, 2 Cup finals, Supporters Shield, US Open Cup win. You can have a problem with your rivals, but eventually you have to concede to reality. Cherundolo is one of the best managers in MLS. Now, if LAFC really wants to put him on the hot seat, then the front office really should sign up for some cognitive behavioral therapy, because that is panic, bruh. You are panicking, my dude. But again, not saying it's true. The Sparks have signed center Mercedes Russell, a 2-time WNBA champ. This is a potentially smart move. We have no idea when Cameron Brink will be able to play. We don't even have much of an idea that Cameron Brink wants to play, for Pete's sakes. That has left Azura Stevens and Derek Ahambi to have to switch from forward to center to make up for it. Russell is not going to dominate the post, meanwhile. Her stats are below meh, but maybe they can get something out of it, just a little bit of depth. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Talk to me, for example. Have you turned the page on the Dodgers winning the World Series and are kind of amused that New York is still booty hurt? For that matter, do you see the Chargers making a leap? And if you enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We talk LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Ken Cortell Queso production. Take care.